Hi and welcome to episode 83 of the Arya Bark Podcast. My name's Caroline and I'm coming to you today from my home in Fife in Scotland. If you're a new viewer, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. It's great to have you here. You will find anything that I talk about right down in the description box. I normally get my patterns from Ravelry. However, where possible, I will try to link to both Ravelry and anywhere else that patterns can be bought from. So how are you doing? I hope you're well. I'm quickly going to address the ugly mark on my arm. I'm fine. This seems to be normal for whenever I get blood taken. My arm swells like a balloon and looks like I'm bleeding internally. It is getting better. The swelling's gone down and the blood is starting to disappear. I'm assuming everything's okay with the results, as I've not had any more phone calls for the doctor to say that anything's needing change, which is all good. The headaches are settling down a bit. The lighting is going to be a bit dodgy because right now the ring lights are actually causing my migraines. They're still as bad. They're still switching between mimicking a heart attack and mimicking a stroke. I do prefer the former to the latter. So what am I wearing? I am wearing my summer t-shirt by Vera Sanon. I'm not going to go into too much details about the pattern right now, as I will be discussing it later. However, I do love this pattern. This top is one that is in heavy rotation. I really do love everything about this top. Can you remember last episode I was saying I was trying to clear my needles, as I seem to be collecting WIPs? What has become apparent over the last couple of weeks is I also need to make sure that my blooming Ravelry is up to date. Last Friday I decided that I needed to make a visual plan for the Dear Designs #Year of the Sock 2023. As regular viewers will be aware, I'm trying to take part in Denise's make-along, mojo permitting. I am also purchasing the very talented Mandy of Mouse's Makes Mouse Switch Yarns Year of Yarn. I want to have, for the most part, most of this yarn used in sock projects, when extra few pairs of socks thrown in. On the Year of Yarn front, I am getting further and further behind every month. My sock mojo has packed its bags and left. Very long story, not as short as it really should have been. Oh, for goodness sake. Right, let's get back to the point I was making. While I was looking for a specific project, I came across not one, but 3 separate sock projects which didn't have Ravelry pages set up. There was no date when these projects were started, and for one specific project, I have absolutely no idea what yarn I'm using. Honestly, you would think I would know better. Moral of this story is, make sure that you keep better notes, especially if you have mild OCD, and not knowing what yarn you're using for a project is driving you demented. So, this week has involved a lot of searching through 8 years worth of photos and 82 podcast episodes, show notes, and honestly, don't even get me started on the amount of knitting adjacent things that I have lost. What have I looked for this week and still haven't been able to find? Scissors. I have a billion pairs of scissors. But do you think I can find a pair of scissors when I need them? I have 3 knitting oddies. Do you think I could find any one of them? I have ripped this house apart and all I've managed to find are the 2 end pieces for my Kromsky one. However, the centre shaft is still missing, which means it is pretty much useless. Now, I can remember putting the ones that go into the water and the Kromsky shaft in a safe place somewhere. And what's really ticked me off is my little #Year of the Sock 2023 disc. Absolutely no idea what safe place that got put into. Seriously, the doctor wonders why my blood pressure's through the roof. You can find me on Ravelry as either Arya Bark or my personal account, which is Sultra. We have our Ravelry group, which is Arya Bark Podcast. We have an Instagram account, which is Arya Bark Designs. We have a Facebook page, which is Arya Bark Designs. There will be a Facebook group, which viewers are more than welcome to join. We are just in the process of getting the guidelines set up and get everything organised for that. If you are interested in joining me, drop me a message either on Instagram or the email address is down below, and I can send you a link as soon as we're active. And we also have a Ko-fi page, which is Arya Bark Podcast. We are currently running 2 make-alongs at the moment. The first one is the hashtag ABP StashSmash 2023. It started on the 1st of January and ends on the 31st of December. If it can be measured in metres, it counts. Any craft that can be measured this way is fine. So knitting, crochet, chinazing, crochet, spinning, weaving, to name but a few. The next make-along is the hashtag ABP Star Flanket KAL. Again, this started on the 1st of January and ends on the 31st of December. All you need to do is knit a Star Flanket by Stephen West. Little side note, if you subscribe to Mandy from Mousie's Makes channel and are taking part in her hashtag Stephen West marathon, remember it also counts as an entry into her make-along as well. You are more than welcome to double, triple, quadruple or any other poll as is allowed. You do you. This week we have going out a hopefully correct StashSmash, because last episode's one was clearly a work of fiction. And by the time I edited out all the mistakes, it wasn't even coherent. So you're welcome that you weren't subjected to that mess. Again, this week we have another project in Naughty Corner, as well as the usual whips, of which there is a few. In this week's podcast, we have a lot of knitting. Yeah, a lot of knitting. And timestamps for each section can be found in the description box below. I have not one, but 2 cast-offs this week. I am literally on a cast-off roll. My first finish object this week is my summer halo top. It is all done. The ends have been woven in. I'm so happy. This is part number 213-8 Summer Halo by Drops Designs. It's a free pattern either on the Drops website, or if you're able to use Ravelry, the link on the project page will take you straight to the pattern. Now, as you remember last week, I was here. I was just about to separate the sleeves. I managed to separate my sleeves, added on the required number of stitches under my arms. I'm sure I said the plan was to finish off the remaining ball, then go back and complete the sleeves, and I did. However, this might be where I went a wee bit rogue. Oops. I'm not giving anything away here, but you literally pick up the stitches in the arms as the pattern suggests. You go straight into the most stitch border. I don't like my sleeves that short. So basically it would have been like that. That would have been the sleeve. I don't like my sleeves that short. I do prefer the old bingo wings to be covered. So I added an extra 3 inches to the sleeve, then put the most stitch border on. It was at this point that I tried it on to make sure that it fitted. Once I'd done both sleeves. I also wanted to see how much more I was needing to put on the body. So when I tried it on, the neckline was horrendous. It was way too big, and that was without it being blocked. Sat about here. And obviously my bra straps are here. And the neckline sat here. So, after a discussion with the amazing Zoom ladies, it was decided that I really needed to rip out the cast on edge, which is definitely easier said than done. Especially with this, because you go... Alright. Sorry, I had that around the wrong way. The normal neckline, you go straight for the more stitch border, straight into an increase round. There was no possible way bringing that neckline in far enough without having to add additional rows. I would like to say a massive thank you to 3 gorgeous and very talented knitters. First one is Sue, Mandy from Mouse's Makes, and Nancy from Kitty Scrapper Podcast. Not only did they provide me with some wonderful advice, they also sat most of the night with me while I moaned my way through ripping it out. After a couple hours of painstakingly ripping this out, stitch by stitch, I eventually gave in and decided to go hunting for some more yarn. I don't have the bag. I don't know what I've done with the project bag. The plan was to cut it after every round, rather than pulling all this yarn through. Thankfully, another 2 full balls were found, so that gave me enough to play with for the neck. Plus, it also meant that I could add some more length to the bottom if I felt I needed it. After getting back to the increase round, I then worked back up, decreasing 2 full sizes and then adding an additional centimetre to the neckband just to give it a wee bit more heft. So in total, I've added an extra 2 centimetres to the neck. So note to self, I really need to cast on the neck and the shoulders in 1, if not possibly 2 sizes smaller. And then what I can do is, once I'm down past here, add on the additional increases that I'm going to need for my bust. At this point, I had added extra length to the neck and the sleeves, so I thought I may as well go full pelt and add some A-line shaping in as well. So that's what I did. That is exactly what I did. I also added a few extra rounds at the bottom band to make sure that it lay flat. The pattern itself is very easy to knit. I absolutely love the lace details on the yoke. I would highly recommend the pattern. It is a lovely make, and I am so happy, even though I did kind of change nearly everything about the pattern. But that was to suit my own preferences. Surprisingly, I did use the recommended yarn. Don't do that very often. I used Drops Muscat in shade 4, which is lilac. Muscat is sold in 50g balls, and you get 100 metres per ball. I used a total of 43, no, it wasn't 43 anything. In total, I used 413.45 grams, which is just over 8 balls, or 826.9 metres. I used the recommended 3.5 and 4mm needle. However, for the neck, for the neck and the button bandits. No, button bandits, a cuff. I did go down to a 3.25mm just to bring it in a wee bit. So, now I have yet another top to go into my rotation, and I am so looking forward to wearing it. My second finished object this week is a surprising one. It had started out being Minimalist by Vicky Morose. I'm not going to pop a picture in or link the details down below for reasons I will explain very shortly. I did have every intentions of them being a toe-up version of that pattern. However, I seriously struggled with that pattern. I have made a few Vicky socks, which going by the ones that I've made so far are all cuff down. Now, I'm not completely opposed to making cuff down socks. I do prefer toe-up, especially if I'm wanting to let as much of a lovely yarn shine as possible. I love this yarn. So I wanted to make the leg longer, but I didn't fancy playing a game of yarn chicken when I made the leg a bit too long. I will openly admit I am a chart girl. I prefer using charts over written instructions, but I seriously struggled with the chart for this pattern. I am aware different nationalities write and chart things differently, and that's perfectly fine. I'm pretty confident in knitting a variety of different patterns. However, it wasn't easy to see exactly what she was needing me to do. I spent too much time trying to figure out what stitch I was needing to make. So after a long time trying to figure it out, I thought the easiest option would be to just find the cable pattern in a stitch dictionary. So seeing as these are toe-up, have a completely different cable pattern on the back, and a longer leg and cuff, they really don't have much in common with Vicky's pattern other than they both have a cable on the sock. These will now be called the cabled back socks. I'll admit it's not the most original name for a sock, but it's not like I'm bringing the pattern out. I'm on the wrong sock, I need this one. This was where I was the last time you saw it. When I started the show notes, which I try to do as I'm going along, I knew I definitely would have a half finished object. Sorry Anthony, a half knitted object because my ends are not woven in. I will weave them in just before I block them. I am using My Switch yarns, Year of Yarn for March. Here is it here. See these specks? Subtle. Wee blips. A colour. Every now and then. Can't even see it properly. My camera's blown it. I would like to point out, that is not nearly as pale as that. It's a lovely daffodil yellow. It's stunning. There's like wee blips. It is stunning. I know I'm biased as I'm friends with Mandy, but seriously, if you haven't tried Mandy's yarn, I would highly, highly recommend it. You will find Mandy's coffee shop linked down below. Just a reminder, Mandy is having a few health issues at the moment. So if the shop is closed, bookmark it and go back and check it out later. You will not regret buying Mandy's yarn. I've never ever been disappointed by any of the yarn that I've got for Mandy. It's always washed well. I have never ever, I don't have any wood near me. I'm even going to touch wood because obviously I've had yarn that has some more likely to run colours in it, and I have never ever had any of the colours run. I've washed few of the projects with Mandy's yarn in it, and the colours are still as gorgeous as the day that I got them. I will give you an example of how much I love Mandy's yarn. I sent Mandy a text the other day saying, is there any chance you could dye me? Actually, I don't even think I asked her if it was alright. I actually don't think, Mandy, I'm sorry. I just assumed you would do it. I basically sent her a message saying, I am needing your favourite Firefly colours in a skein of yarn. Have at it. And I wasn't specific. So again, Mandy, I'm sorry. So she dyed me up 2 different colours. But I kind of need them to match. So again, I am very sorry. She then sent me another picture yesterday. Do you know that moment where you see something and you don't know whether to cry because you're so happy or start dancing? That was me. I was like, oh. Oh my God. I'm starting to wonder if I should just call this tangent alert. I want to make it abundantly clear. Yes, I'm friends with Mandy. The vast majority of yarn that is in my stash has been purchased with my own money. I have gratefully received a few free skeins, and you'll see one of them later on. But for the most part, I gladly send Mandy money for beautiful skeins, and I am more than happy to do so and tell you honestly just how much I love that yarn. Oh, for goodness sake. It's gone forever. Where the heck was I before I started fangirling over Mandy's yarn again? Yeah, found similar cable was what I was talking about. Found similar cable in the Cable Left and Cable Left, Cable Right book by Judith Durant. This cable's on page 58. It's called the United Inward Double Cable. I decided to go for a 16 stitch repeat. So that gives you the purl bumps at either side plus the cable. Cable's a 12 stitch. And then you've got 2 stitches at either end. I decided I was going to try 10 repeats. So you see 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Then make a decision whether I needed to add any more repeats. The 10 repeats were ideal. I like my sock length to be roughly the same as the length of my foot. I have used a 2.25mm higher sharp, and I added my preferred heel, which is the integrated heel by Ailbíona McLochlainn. The basic socks with the integrated heel by Ailbíona McLochlainn can be found on Ravelry. It is €4 or £3.66-ish. This pattern is a complete bargain. For the measly amount that you pay, you get 2 patterns. You get both the toe-up version and the cuff-down version of this heel. You're given stitch counts for 5 sizes. Now, I will clarify, there are really good instructions on working out what size to make for your foot, as well as a fantastic foot length guide, which is perfect for gift knitting, or if you know a recipient's shoe size but you don't have an exact measurement. Brilliant. The pattern can be used for yarn starting from fingering weight, going all the way through to DK. This is my go-to pattern for myself and for Ryan. Andrew isn't fussed. He's just grateful to get a pair of socks, to be perfectly honest. These socks fit perfectly. There is literally nothing I dislike about them or would change. They are pretty much perfect. I genuinely cannot wait to wear them, and they are likely to be my favourite socks for a while. I used 65.6 grams. This is what I've got left or 262.4 metres. I am thrilled with how these have come out. I still have a fair amount left, which can be placed into my scrappy projects. So I can't wait to get that done as well. So that is all I have managed to finish in the last 2 weeks. I've managed to craft 479.05 grams or 1089.3 metres. And for that I have a lovely cotton top and a gorgeous pair of socks. I will be completely honest, I'm really liking being slightly more monogamous on my projects. And as obvious as it is, it really does help with getting things off my needles. As some of you will be aware, my goal is to craft 25,000 metres from my stash this year. Last episode, I had crafted 2,640.26 metres, which brought my previous outgoing to 15,377.1 metres. This week, my 1,089.3 metres brings that up to 16,204 metres, which isn't too shabby. My previous incoming was 50,181 metres. Yeah, that's not the greatest. But that does include 4.5 kilograms of yarn from last episode. I'm not too concerned as that is 10 separate projects. So really, there was only 100 gram skein that didn't have a project attached to it. Are we seeing how I can justify any additional yarn? Wait until next week, next episode. My excuses just keep getting better and better. And no one will be flung under a bus. It was all me for a change. It was all me. Nobody tempted me down rabbit holes. No one held me by the hand and led me to a shop sale. I did it all on my own. This means to target I have 8,533.6 metres to go to reach my target. Now, if my maths are right, I need to craft 2,200 metres-ish each month to get there. It could be possible. I do have enough unfinished projects sitting around that would help get me there. I do have 2 projects that I really, really do hope to get finished from Tonya, who is Karma's a Stitch on YouTube. Again, I'll leave details down below. Her last cast on party, as well as another project that you'll see a little later. So far I have crocheted 2,011.31 metres. I have knitted 14,458.09 metres. I've not finished any spinning and I've not even attempted any weaving so far this year. I am also taking part in the Ravelry Project Challenge. My challenge is to craft 30 projects in 2023. So far this year I have completed 25, which is 83%. Again, I am so close to target. I only need to finish another 5 projects and that's another imaginary medal. And who doesn't love winning imaginary medals? After being disappointed with the neckline on my summer halo, I thought it might be a good idea to have a look at this. This is Calibrate by Aleks Dok. It is a paid for pattern on Ravelry. I'll leave the links down below. I would like to point out, despite the outcome for this project, I actually don't have anything negative to say about it. I genuinely think it was operator error. I have known a few people who have knit this pattern and have had absolutely no problem whatsoever with it. I tried it on the Monday after I recorded and I literally could not get it to come over the girls. if that wasn't bad enough, it was at that point I noticed that my raglan increases looked incredibly dodgy and in no way symmetrical to one another. So I ripped it out. As this was from Tonya's cast on party, I needed to find another project to make with the yarn. When I was trying to find the A-line, a pattern that had A-line shaping, I remembered my summer t-shirt by Vera Sanon. I knitted this pattern back in June last year. I love this pattern, and I did say when I finished it that I will be making another one. So that's what I'm planning on doing. Now, I need to cast this on and bind it off in 4 weeks. Yeah, the sadism is high. This summer t-shirt took 6.5 weeks to knit. Yeah, that's an issue. Saying that, I did manage to knit the summer halo in 14 days. There were a few days in there that I didn't actually knit at all. And I was also working on other projects as well. Yeah. There is every chance it is doable. Maybe. The summer t-shirt is knit on a 3.5mm for the ribbon. So you've got ribbon at the top and ribbon at the bottom. And everything else is knit on a 3.75mm. I'm planning on using the recommended 3.75mm. However, for the ribbon, I think I might go down to a 3.25 just to get a wee bit neater of an edge. I will be using the same yarn as the Calibrate, which is this one. This is Pound Stretchers My Baby Speckle in shade 6, which is the blue. Has that got the green speckles? Yeah. It's the blue-green speckles. There is green speckles there. There. I do have enough yarn to do additional sleeve length, as well as adding a few more inches to the body. Another modification that I'm planning on doing is making, now this bottom ribbon, 2 seconds, I'm not going to flash parts of my anatomy at you. It's not that kind of podcast. This is only an inch. I am likely to make it 1.5 inches, possibly 2 inches, as this one tends to flip up every now and again. The pattern has 2 options for the eyelet triangle here. You have either a small triangle or the larger one. I'm just going to go for the larger one again. The summer t-shirt is a paid for pattern on Ravelry. It can be purchased for $6 or £4.94-ish. So hopefully by the next podcast I will have some decent progress on it. I'm going to start it as editing. I was going to say I'll have it finished by next podcast. That might be taking things a little bit too far. My first WIP is dedicated to the wonderful Sue and Nancy, who with some friendly encouragement has given me the nudge to restart working on this. This is the Counting Sheet Blanket by Lisa Hanan Fox. It is a paid for pattern on Ravelry, where you can purchase it for $9.99 or £8.20-ish. Now, Lisa does have discount codes on our pattern pages. I think there's 3 separate discount codes. If you purchase multiple patterns. It starts at 15% off 2 patterns, 2 or 3, two patterns. All the way up to 25% off 5 patterns or more. Lisa designs double knitting patterns. The technique, not the yarn weight, which is you will have white sheep with the occasional black sheep, or you on the other side it is black sheep with the occasional white sheep. I adore Lisa's patterns. They are amazing. She does little coasters. Such a thought. She does little coasters all the way up to massive blankets. She's got shawl patterns, she's got scarf patterns, she has bag patterns. Absolutely love them. I really do love Lisa's designs. I do have a fair few patterns that might have fallen into my basket since I started this project. This might possibly be where I was the last time you saw it, which I'll admit hasn't been for at least a year and a half, possibly 2 years. I have had to go back to episode 29, which was the last episode that this was in a thumbnail. There is every chance it could have been sooner, but seeing as I was wanting to make an episode this week, I've decided just take the number from here. For any new viewers, the running theme is, when this project's out, I count sheep faces. Now, a sheep face is any face where the eye has been completed. So that won't count as a sheep face. This one will, because I have now completed the full eye. Obviously, this is quite hefty. Andrew's not here to help me, so I won't be counting sheep faces on camera. What I will do, however, is I will lay this out and take a picture where you can see the full thing, and you're more than welcome to go over and verify the results. So I'll stick a bit up there. This was what the sheep faces were the last time it was shown on an episode. I am currently at 49 sheep faces. How pretty is that? I'm going to go back to my original plan of trying to get at least 2 rows done per day. Again, I'm not going to force myself to do it. I may do more if I'm in the mood. I may not do any at all, like yesterday. I was having a heart attack mimicking migraine yesterday, so I decided it wasn't getting touched. This is not a project that you can do with that sort of stuff going on. It's no relaxing, it's stressful. Now, I picked this back up on Friday. I managed to get 4 rows put in, which doesn't seem a lot, but considering it can take anywhere between an hour and a half to 2 hours now that I'm knee deep in sheep, it takes a while. Especially considering I keep miscounting my stitches. The black is Robin double knit in shade 44, which is black. The white is Yarn Fair Tootsie, it's white. I'm using a 3.75mm higher sharp. I have changed from 2 60-inch cords onto one single 60-inch cord, just so it makes it easier for moving it. I'm still loving the pattern. The next part of the plan for this project, wait a minute to find where my wee stitch marker dude is. This stitch marker here marks chart 1. I'm currently working through chart 2. The next part is chart 3. Now, from there on in for the throw, you work chart 2 and 3 for X number of repeats. This is not going to be a blanket. I'm making it a wall hanging, so I don't really need as many repeats, say chart 2 and 3. So the plan is, I'm going to do chart 2, I'm going to do chart 3. At that point, I will measure to see how big I'm wanting to make this. Now, there is every chance that I'll do chart 2 and do chart 3 and then just put in chart 4, which will be ending the flock. I may decide that I want an extra repeat more, so I'll do chart 2 and 3 again. I'll just wait and see. Yeah, so keep your fingers crossed, and hopefully I'll have even more progress by the next time you see it. My next WIP is the Fragmentation Shawl by Stephen West. This is a paid for pattern either on Ravelry or the West Knits website. It can be purchased for €6 or £5.55-ish for the single pattern, or it can be purchased as part of the modular colouring shawl ebook, which is €36 or £33.33-ish. Now, the lovely Denise from Dear Designs and the equally lovely Mandy from Mouse's Makes are hosting a make-along in our Zoom group. Now, that starts on the 1st of September, and it's to make another Eyelet Burst shawl. Let's be honest, I have serious FOMO, so I've decided to take part in that as well. However, the last one nearly killed me. I do, however, need to get my Stephen West shawls done a bit. At present, this is the second Stephen West shawl I have on the go. I still haven't finished the twists and turns, which the mystery knit along from last year. I will be completely honest, I'm swaying if I can actually be bothered to finish it at all, or whether I should just rip it back and be done with it. I just can't decide if I like it or not. So I've left that purposely tucked away until I fall into one camp or another. Going back to my Fragmentation shawl, this was where I was the last time you saw it, after I decided to try and get cocky and do all the sections at the same time and realise it didn't work. So I'm now officially back up to where I was before I had to rip it back. I made a reasonable amount of progress on it. It's not too bad. The yarns that I'm using are either dyed by friends or were gifts from friends, and in some cases both. I'll run through the colours as I've not done that in a while. Colour A, which is this one here, is one of the very talented Mandy from Mouse's Makes Mouse Witch yarns. This is shade Hyacinth. Colour B is another Mouse Witch yarns colourway, and this is shade Mother's Day Bouquet. Colour C is from, again, the very talented Sarah, who is the Fibre Sanctuary, and this is Pinks. Gorgeous. Colour D is from, my arm's getting sore. Colour D is from my lovely friend Heather, and is for the love of yarn in shade Steak Lorn. Steak Lorn. Colour E is from the lovely and very, very talented Denise from Dear Designs, and this is Bright Pumpkin. Colour F is from My Yarny Corner and is colourway Cocktail Hour. And last but by no means least, colour, well, what have I got up to? E, F. Colour G is another Mouse Witch yarns, and this is a colourway Caroline's, which was a gift from Mandy last year for Christmas. I am using a 3.75mm high sharp on a 16-inch cord. You really don't have that many stitches on the go at one time, which for a Stephen West is a miracle. So anything longer than that just gets in the way. And considering you're binding it off as you go, it's just nice to knit on a project with a shorter cord. I know I'm weird. My next WIP will be another entry into the Dear Designs hashtag Year of the Sock. This doesn't have a specific month. However, it is knit in yarn dyed by Denise. This is the cream egg colourway. This was always destined to be a pair of basic socks with integrated tails by Ailbíona McLochlainn. This was where I was the last time you saw it. So I've done a fair amount. I am one more round away from where I start the heel. I've decided instead of starting another pair of socks, I'm going to use the needle from the cable back socks, which reminds me I need to put them in. What I'll do is I'll work one heel, obviously get it up to around about here. Do the same on the other sock, get that to the same place. Then at that point, what I'm going to do is put the two of them back on the same needle and work up the legs two at a time. I'm using a 2.25mm high sharp, and I absolutely love how they're coming out. Absolutely adore it. I just need to set time aside each day to work on them. Obviously, the cotton sheet blanket, that takes a good couple hours. I'm wanting to start another summer t-shirt. Yeah, I'm going to have to pull my finger out. So that is all I've worked on over the last few weeks. I do need to remind myself to stop saying that that's all I've done. I have completed 2 projects. I have a gorgeous top and a lovely pair of socks. And I've made half decent progress on everything else. As a lovely viewer reminded me on the last episode, it's not an insignificant number of stitches that I've knitted if you look at it that way. Now, once I've finished the cream egg socks, I'm going to go back and knit the January pair of socks, and I'll keep going through the yarn as well as knitting at the same time that month's particular prompt. I'm waiting for yarn to come from Mandy. I'm not in really in any particular rush for that. As I said, Mandy is still unwell. So when it comes, it comes. If I need to wait, then that's fine. I would rather have to wait for my yarn than have Mandy do herself an injury and we don't get to see her happy smiley face because she's put herself in hospital. Yeah, so that is pretty much what I've been up to. I'm just fine. Andrew did lay nice new grass. Seed. She said seed because obviously when I say laid grass, folk think turf. Andrew did lay nice new grass seed last weekend. Well, he prepared the ground last week, done it this week. Ryan's fine, Patch is fine. Patch is away to visit Grandad Jim with his dad. Arya is passed out under the table, enjoying some peace and quiet. Zooms, that was the other thing I was going to mention. As you'll all be aware, my health is not fantastic. I made a decision a couple of weeks ago that I was going to close off the Zoom group. For anyone attending the 2 Zooms, they will still be on a Wednesday starting at 8 p.m. and a Friday at 11 a.m. These times don't change for anyone in the UK. Anyone outside the UK, you need to take into account whether it's BST or GMT. When we go back into GMT, I will try letting you know when it will be in your time zone. I do have a waiting list for either another day or an evening group, or if space opens up in one of the current rooms. If you're wanting to join, that's fine. However, I can't give you an exact time when that's going to happen. I do have a family that would like to see me at some point and spend some time with me around all the other Zooms that I'm attending, as well as stuff going on with me personally. If you want to join, I will very happily keep a note of your name, and if anything does change, then I can get back in contact with you. But right now, it would be unfair for me to keep allowing people to join the room when I'm asking other hosts to take over my group when I'm not feeling great. For anyone who has or will be attending any of the Zooms run in connection with this podcast, I will be posting a link in the groups that I would kind of ask you to watch. A few things I'm wanting to address, and to be honest, it's easier to speak it than to try and fit what I'm needing to say in X amount of characters. Don't want anyone to be concerned. Nobody's done anything they shouldn't have. There's one or two things that have come up that I need to make you aware of how I'll be managing things going forward. So yeah, I'll let you know when that goes up. And yeah, I am going to go take a migraine tablet. I am possibly going to edit this later on. I need to take pictures, might get Andrew to do that for me. Yeah. So, I hope you have a very, very crafty few weeks, and I will see you back here again next time.